Welcome to another edition of Vegas Valuations. I'm Jamie.
I'm Ashley.
And on today's edition of the show, something a little different. We're not offering Vegas Valuations. We're offering tips for first-timers to Vegas. 5 quick tips for first-timers heading to Las Vegas, and there is also a bit of a Canadian note here, but we'll get to that. Our first tip, and you have heard us reference it several times, and I tell this to everybody who will listen in my, personal circle, and if they're going down to Vegas, get a casino loyalty or rewards card as soon as you get there. And get one at every place you're gambling in.
And you don't have to be a high roller to actually get rewards. Like, we do not have high status on our cards, and we get comp rooms all the time.
Totally.
And we don't spend a lot of money. Just make sure when if you're going to MGM property, use your MGM card at restaurants,
yeah, that was going to be the next part of the tip. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay, but it's true.
Yeah.
You don't let yourself think, well, I don't really gamble all that much. Prevent you from getting a card. Just get the card.
Yeah.
And whether you're staying at MGM and gambling at Caesars because it's your first time there and you want to hit up as many casinos and resorts as possible, get the Caesars card. Mm-hmm. When you go into Casino Royale, just by getting a card, they're going to give you $20 to gamble with. And then they give you $20 for every $100 you gamble while using that card.
Yeah.
TI, they've got some cool incentives. That we got a TI card, like not the last time, but 2 trips ago. And because we spent a little bit of money, if we wanted to, we could come back later that night. They're going to have some draws.
Yeah, and that's Treasure Island.
Yeah, well, that's what it's called TI now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's the new name.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And Palms, that's another great example. We got the Palms, got the card. And we ended up getting 2 free buffets for that night. It happened to work out where our flights were taking off. That was the day we were leaving. But so right there, you're already getting some incentives to potentially win, and you haven't even really racked up points. Yeah. But the next follow-up, and you were already talking about it, was don't just use them in the machines. Mm-hmm. Use them everywhere, restaurants.
Yeah. Shows, the spas, you can do that. And let's say you didn't have your card with you, if you have your receipt, you can actually send it to MGM and they'll add the points on. So you can use that card with everything MGM property related, and then same with Caesars and things like that. So don't think it's just for the casino machines.
Yeah, to me, again, like I said, I did not get a card the first time I went down there, and I sort of kicked myself ever since, because there's a chance to rack up points, even if you're there for 3 days. You're eating at restaurants. If it happens to be in an MGM or Caesars, you can rack up those points pretty quick. And I guarantee you, give it a week or 2. As soon as you're back to wherever you came to Vegas from, you're going to get an email going, hey, because of your recent play, you're being offered rooms. And you don't need to use them that weekend. Here's a stretch of 3 or 4 months that you can get a free room if you're planning on coming back. And
a lot of times you'll get resort credits and free gameplay.
Totally.
If you come back. So
something to think about, but that would be my big tip out of the gates for the Vegas first-timers. Get a card every place you gamble.
Tip number 2, plan. So if there's shows you want to see, make sure you book the shows. Make sure you're also taking a look around, because there's Vegas.com, there's Groupon, there's tons of third-party sites that you can get really good deals on. Another one that I would suggest looking into is a go-card. So we did get a go-card the first few times we went to Vegas. Yeah. And we really, really liked it. It probably saved us a ton of money.
That was one thing earlier you heard. We did not get actually, you weren't there the first time I went to Vegas. No. We didn't get the loyalty cards, but what we did get was a Go card, and it was pretty awesome. So you pay basically in advance, and I think the card we had, and there's different variations, but you can pick up to a certain number of events or a certain number of events per day. Yeah. So let's just focus on the option to just pick, let's say, 4 events. And on those events, there are all sorts of different things. There's the car museum. There's Madame Tussauds. There's the high roller.
There's Mob Museum.
Mob Museum.
There's actually like credits for, I think, like senior frogs.
Yep.
You can get drinks. Like there's so many different things. It's not even just shows and things to do.
Totally.
Like there's coupons. That's the biggest tip I have. Get that go-kart. If it's your first few times within Vegas, you can check out so many things for a fraction of the price.
Yeah, it's really, really affordable. And it's nice knowing that you don't have to pay those things when you get down there.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times with the go-kart specifically, you're actually saving money than if you would have just walked up. So not only are you planning, not only are you saving money, but you're also kind of giving yourself a bit of an agenda and a bit of a budget, which I find that helps. If you like going to Vegas a lot, I mean, unless you're doing much better than we are financially,
it can get expensive.
It can get expensive. Yeah. And, you know, I know that there's going to be people out there going, no, don't plan anything, man. Let Vegas happen. Then, you know what?
You're going to spend a lot of money.
You're going to spend a lot of money because you're going to spend a lot of time in the casino, and that money can go real quick. All right, tip number 3, and this is for the Canadians. So, you know, obviously putting this out into the internet, you never know who's going to be tuning in. But Canadians, let me look at you for a second. Did you know that in the States, you can go into a drugstore and buy alcohol? I did not know this until I went to Vegas. Me and my buddy go for the very first time for both of us ever. And the first thing we do, of course, and this is probably the first thing you're going to do if it's your first time, you're going to get to the hotel, you're going to check your crap, and you're going to start walking the strip because let's go see what this is all about. And you're going to want to drink. So we were staying at Luxor, walked across the bridge, got to New York, went down, and right there, Nine Fine Irishman has a bit of an outdoor patio. And we said, you know what, we could really use a beverage. We could use a beer. And we bought a $10 beer each and enjoyed it as we walked along our merry way on the strip. And then I walked into the drugstore thinking, you know, I'm going to pick up a pack of gum. And I see this entire row of coolers filled with beer, big boy cans. And at the time, they were like, buy 2 for $6. And we looked at each other like we were idiots.
Well, you were.
We were. We were idiots. So don't feel like you need to go to the really expensive places if you want to buy a drink and walk around with it on the strip. I don't know if it's technically legal or not. They just don't care. They don't care if you're walking around with it open. I think you can.
I think it is legal for there.
Yeah, I think it is for the strip.
Yeah.
Put it this way. I remember after, again, feeling like an idiot and feeling sort of stupid that I had spent $10 on a beer when I could have bought 2 gigantic ones at the drugstore or ABC or, you know, so CVS, Walgreens, ABC, any of those are great options to go get some cheaper drinks. It's literally cheaper than water some places. Mm-hmm. I have my big boy, I actually had 2 big boy cans, and I'm walking into a casino. And I will never forget this. This is when I knew I'm going to be hooked on Las Vegas for the rest of my life. I'm walking up, and I forget which casino, and I look over at one of the security guards near the door, and I asked him, can I bring these in? And he said, and I quote, it's effing Vegas, man. And I said, cool. And I walked into the casino with 2 open cans of beer. That's why I like Vegas so much.
Oh, dear.
But anyway, that's a good tip. I know maybe some of you are good, thanks, tips. But if you don't know, you don't know. Mm-hmm. Make sure, hey, if you want to enjoy the strip, and that's going to be something you're going to want to do right away. If it's the first time, you're going to want to walk that strip.
Tip number 4. The lovely people trying to make a buck or 2 on the strip, just to make you a little cautious. What do you think? Okay.
So, you know, God bless the showgirls. God bless us, everyone. All those people out there that are trying to, as you've mentioned, make a buck or 2. Here's a good tip for you, and it's just basically the summation of the entire situation. If someone is seeming very friendly, overly friendly, very, very incredibly almost too friendly, and I'm not just talking about showgirls, they want money from you in some way, shape, or form in Las Vegas, bar none. Full stop. Showgirls, if you say, and I know exactly, I can hear it. Picture, come take a picture. Who wants a picture? Welcome to Vegas.
Well, and never take a picture before asking how much.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it boils down to. You will pay. Or at least they will expect you to pay. So what happens to a lot of poor people is that while they may be okay with providing a bit of a tip, they have no idea how much that they're going to ask. And I've heard of people being asked between $40 and $60. So what happens is you take your photo. Hey, this is so cute, very nice. Oh, well, there's two of us, and, typically we'll charge about $30 a person. And, they start high. So that the hopes would be that they're coming away with at least $10 each, $20 each. So they are going to start high. And yes, there is no cool, thanks for the photo and walking away. They will start engaging with you. They deserve that money, in fact. They deserve to be paid for taking the photo. They're walking around with all that gear on. I'm not coming down on the showgirls, but I am trying to inform people that if you take a photo, this was a great tip, ask how much first.
Well, we've seen lots of families too, because there's lots of characters dressed up on the strip.
Well, Vegas is starting to clamp down on that. I've seen a lot of photos of them getting arrested. Yeah.
Oh, but be cautious, because your kid runs up and wants a picture with Spider-Man. Just be careful, because you're going to have to pay for it eventually, whether it's before or after.
Yeah, just ask. Ask how much before you take the picture, because then you have something to hold them to. Right? Hey, how much? $10. And they're going to start low because they know they'd rather have something. They've got your sale in their hand. They're going to start low at that point because they don't want you walking away. It's harder for you to walk away once the picture is already taken. So that's the people who are posing for photos and the showgirls. And again, not coming down on the showgirls or even the people who are posing for photos. They're trying to make a buck.
Yeah.
Though it is getting out of hand. As far as I'm concerned, this is another one of my pet peeves is I like personal space. I've talked about it. You're taking up too much real estate. That aside, God bless you. You're trying to make a living. Just ask before. Another thing that I've run into when it comes to people being overly friendly on the strip is the rappers.
Yeah.
So here's how it goes. They're going to come up to you. They're like, my man. They're going to, like your hat. They're going to find a way to start the conversation. And then they're going to actually give you a CD. Hey, man, just trying to get my music out there. And if you take that CD, you're going to pay. You're going to pay. They're going to ask you for money. And again, like the showgirls, they're going to start high. Just keep that in mind. There is some of I'm just trying to get my music out there. No, they are not. In fact, I've heard from a lot of people that CD does not got no music on it. There's no trying to get the music out there. This is a grift. They're trying to get some money out of you. So if they're, again, being very friendly, like your hat, like your shirt, if you're wearing something that says you're Raiders, they're Raiders, just to start the conversation. How many times did that happen to us?
Oh, all the time.
If I'm wearing, especially if I'm wearing my Raptors hat with a Canadian, hey, I'm from Canada, man. That's how it starts. And they try to engage, and then they give you the CD, just trying to get my music out there. If you take that CD, they're expecting money. And by the by, there's a real good chance that if you at the very least think, well, I paid $30 for the CD or $20, because all of a sudden there's also then going to be a group. Well, I got to pay for this guy, and we're all on it. We're all trying to make it. They give you a decent sob story. There's no music. You just bought a blank disc. A lot of the times. All right.
I'm sure there's some out there that are legitimately trying to get their stuff out. But
it's too bad,
you have to be cautious.
Because it's those people that are taking advantage that are actually ruining it for the genuine artists.
Yes. Yeah.
So just something to keep in mind. And then, of course, I think we can probably, everybody should know this. The timeshare. You want to see a show? Want to see a show? How long are you in town for? Are you just getting in? Want to see a show? You're going to hear that every resort you go into, everyone, they're going to come up to you. They're going to try to engage. They're going to offer free tickets. And we can say, we've done it. We've done it. Not because we got conned into it, but because we had some spare time and they were actually offering some pretty cool stuff. This was back when Flamingo had a buffet. They were offering 4 tickets to the Flamingo buffet, 4 tickets to go see Ka, and I think even something else. I forget. Maybe a little bit of spending money? It doesn't matter.
I can't remember, but yes, it was very enticing for especially like newbies in Vegas. I think it was like our second maybe time there. And I mean, it was good. Like if you're looking for a timeshare, definitely go.
But it's a day.
It does take some time away. But definitely don't be afraid to say no either if you're just not interested. We just say no thanks. Keep talking.
And I'm really polite. I think at least I used to be. Now I don't even play the game. Like I used to engage slightly and be like, no thanks, but how's your day? Typical Canadian, you know. Oh, that's so swell. Thanks so much. Maybe next time. Maybe I'll catch you next time. Now it's, you want to see a show? No, leaving tonight. I could have just got in. That's my response to every time someone asks me from the timeshare. You want to see a show? No, leaving tonight. Leaving tonight. Leaving tonight. Stop talking to me. Because it does start to get old.
It does. It's literally everywhere you go. I think every resort has one. There's places on the Strip that have them. Like
I'll tell you exactly where it is. It's by the M&M store. If you're walking by the M&M store, Westgate.
There's more though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But on the Strip, it's like I actually dread walking through that area into the I forget what the name of the stores is, but from basically the M&M store into where that Giordano's pizza is. It's like you have to mentally prepare yourself. Like, here we go, going to war. Just say no. But again, I think it all goes into that the overall tip. Yeah. If someone's being very friendly to you and you don't know this person, they want your money.
Yeah.
Just that simple.
Yep.
All right. New to Vegas. Tip number 5. Make a reservation. There's nothing worse than thinking, okay, I want to get on the day, but I want to eat something first because I'm not feeling well thanks to the day before. I want some coffee. And then you walk up to wherever for brunch. You want a sit-down restaurant. You don't have to make reservations at Taco Bell or Denny's if that's where you want to go. But if you want to go somewhere else, and then you'd be told, well, it's 45 minutes. Oh. And then you do the death walk down the Strip looking for another place to eat. But we've actually gotten pretty good at making reservations.
Yeah. And there is a couple of restaurants that we actually have on our list.
Yeah.
And it takes, Hash House A Go-Go, we still haven't been able to get reservations, and we try every single time we go.
Seating at Hash House A Go-Go is rarer than the Unical.
Yeah, it is very tough, but it looks absolutely fantastic. And I'm going to get in there one day.
One day we're going to do it.
And then Hell's Kitchen, I know that's a popular one for people who want to try it out. That's a month or 2 in advance.
Totally.
So just make sure if there is a restaurant you really want to go to, just book a reservation. You can go on Open Table and book a reservation in most restaurants there. And a lot of times you can look on their website and there might be, there should be a reservation button there as well. But yeah.
One follow-up tip to that, keep an eye on Open Table. We really like it, but I have noticed the last few times we've tried to make reservations at some places, you're making a reservation for what they're calling an experience.
Yes.
There are no actual reservations. They say there's no reservations available for general seating, which is baloney. But it was Guy Fieri's Flavor Town.
Yeah.
They're like, no, don't have any general seating, but would you like to book this experience for an extra $25 per person where you get to sit near the kitchen? No.
Yeah. And then so we just we walked over there because we're like, we'll try and get in. And yeah, we were able to walk in.
Some cases you're going to be able to walk into restaurants. Yeah. Absolutely. It's going to be possible. But just keep an eye. I did notice that pop up recently, our last trip. I'm like, why is it that this have to charge me for this reservation? It's for an experience.
And if you did check out before too one of our other videos on Alexa, a lot of times if you want to go there for breakfast, they are pretty busy.
Make a
reservation if you want to try them for breakfast.
Yeah, absolutely. Very quick tip, for the love of God, wear decent shoes. You don't realize, especially if you've never been there, how much you're going to walk. Mm-hmm. You are going to walk a lot. You are going to be on your feet all day long.
Don't wear heels, ladies.
Be prepared to walk.
Yeah.
And when I say that, Carrot Top has a great bit. He makes fun of the people. He's like, wow, we can walk there. Can't be that far. Look, I can see it from here. we actually walk a lot.
We do.
And we're okay with it. We know we're going to walk. If we can save the money on the Uber and the taxi and just hike it, there's also obviously the trams and some of the other free stuff. But nonetheless, a couple of tips to keep in mind if you are a first-time Vegas goer. If you follow those, you're going to have a fantastic time. And I think you'll really, really enjoy your first ever trip to Las Vegas. Take us with you. Take us with you. Very quickly. Some of the things we're constantly trying to ask people to do. Because we've seen a lot of shows and a lot of experiences. You can go catch some of the videos we've already put up. But if there's something that you're questioning, we see it on some of the Facebook community pages all the time. People are asking questions about certain resorts, certain restaurants, certain experiences, certain shows. If you've got a show that you're eyeing up and you're just looking for a little bit of feedback, comment below, because there's a real good chance we've seen it.
Or we'll put it on our list.
Yeah, or tell you what, we're going to Vegas in April. Maybe we'll go do it. If we haven't done it, we're always looking for cool ideas for things to check out. So if there's something you'd like us to talk about, comment below. And make sure you like and subscribe. That's it. Another edition of Vegas Valuations in the books. I'm Jamie.
I'm Ashley.
Thanks for tuning in.